Apparently, and I'm a fan of science and to a little lesser degree science fiction. I actually wrote an article for this website. These science groups in Europe were forging together to map the human brain. I'm sure they're probably still doing it, like to make a functioning cyber brain, with all the neurons and synapses and pathways. We're talking about like billions of components here. But the shit has gotten more real than I knew. Apparently,
Fucking, yeah, that shit's got real. Wasn't that what them fools always say on Bad Boys? This shit got real, just got real. Martin Lawrence character.
oh, I didn't really say it all the time, but
Got real.
yeah, yeah. They're like really like
Well, look.
creating this whole cyborg situation here.
You realize this article is like an amalgam of some of the things that we have spoken about individually. I mean,
yeah.
the
That's what I said before. Like the shit is. That's what I asked them while we were preparing for the show. Like are they actually doing? Is this shit being done, or is this just concepts? Like no, they're like doing this shit.
They're doing this shit. So,
so I mean, it's a huge article. We'll just try to touch on some of the things that they're talking about. Some of the milestones that they're doing quietly, almost without anyone even noticing. We have entered the age of the cyborg, or cybernetic organism, a living thing, both natural and artificial. Artificial retinas and cochlear implants, which connect directly to the brain through the auditory nerve system, restore sight to the blind and hearing to the deaf. Deep brain implants, known as brain pacemakers, alleviate the symptoms of 30,000 Parkinson's sufferers worldwide. The Wellcome Trust is now trialing the silicone chip that sits directly on the brains of Alzheimer's patients, stimulating them and warning of dangerous episodes. A growing cadre of innovators is taking things further, using the replacement organs, robotic prosthetics, and implants not to restore bodily functions, but to alter or enhance them. When he lost his right eye in a shotgun accident in 2005, Canadian filmmaker Rob Spence replaced it with a wireless video camera that transmits what he sees into real time to his computer. Last year, the electronic engineer Brian McAvoy, who is based in Minnesota, made himself a kind of internal sat-nav by fitting himself with a subdermal compass.
yeah, satellite navigational thing. So, but another thing that the first guy in the article, this guy Ian Burkhart, who was paralyzed in a car accident, they put some wires that ran from his brain into some things inside of his body, and he was actually able to move his joints. They bridged the gap that was severed, and they said you can actually hear the joints cracking, because they haven't been utilized and used since the accident. And I think that's quite amazing when you really think about it. But just the description of this guy, though, the whole shaven head with the wires. I think of RoboCop, the original RoboCop, because that was part of the. That's if you ever seen the movie, the original one, I didn't see the remake. He gets all gunned down in a terrible shooting, and they merged his body, his brain and his brain tissue with like a cybernetic body. I mean, a robotic body. And he was able to control it through these wires coming from his head, and they've actually they said it's a neural bridge, and it successfully connected Burkhart's brain with his body, which I thought was like some of the good that could be done. We'll get into what I think is bad, but I mean,
other things, of course, the military is all over this. The U.S. military is pouring millions of dollars into projects such as exobionics, human universal load carriers, an Iron Man-style wearable exoskeleton that gives soldiers superhuman strength. Its Defense Advanced Research Projects Association, DARPA, is also working on thought controller killer robots, thought helmets to enable telepathic communication and brain-computer interfaces to give soldiers extra senses such as night vision and the ability to see magnetic fields caused by landmines.
That sounds very convenient. That just sounds very. But the thought helmets, You know, I love the movie references because I love challenging you to find it. You know, it was the Clint Eastwood Firefox back in the days, Thought Helmet. But and the exoskeleton, I think because I know we showed the dogs, the
Right.
pack mules and the pack animals, which makes sense because if you have, you know, a place where you have a lot of mines and stuff like that, you could put the equipment on the robo beast, and if it blows up, oh well. And the load carriers, to visualize what it looks like, it's sort of like what Ripley had on in Aliens. It's something that goes on the outside of you and wraps around your forearms and quads and calves, and it helps you. So, you know, when you're actually lifting something, the machine will help you. So all that stuff I understand. This thought control killer helmet. So what happens if you have an individual that becomes emotionally unstable? For whatever reason, bereaved, you know, woman just left him or whatever happened. And he flips the fuck out and, you know, sends one of these things, you know, on a death mission. Because remember, they said that those robo dogs, those robo things, they could send that shit to your door. They could put coordinates in this fucking big, like, mecha bull, and this thing could run and crash through your wall and cold gore you and stomp fire out you.
Well,
So,
you know, we'd have to assume that, you know.
we're seeing a mechanized robo bull running down
No,
the
I'm
street
saying,
with
well,
me.
to your concern, I mean, you know, as you know, we've learned very recently, you have to take all types of fucking personality tests just to get a goddamn job.
Yeah.
You know, at UPS now.
Yeah.
So one would assume that they would have, you know, mentally fit and stable people utilizing these helmets and whatnot have you.
But look how it was phrased, for killer fucking. I mean, so you don't put it that way. I mean, listen. Obviously, if it's to dispatch some kind of killer robot, so you're fucking unleashing Terminators upon the world. This person is not in the regular civilian sector. He's obviously some kind of operative. He or she is in some kind of operative where they have to basically dispense death, mechanized death upon their adversaries or whomever. You know, they call it a terrorist cell or whatever. They're sending something to kill with thought. And when you give people too much, I think they have a tendency to want to abuse it or misuse it for something negative. A lot of this stuff, if I think we're in a different society, or if we as humans were just better, a lot of this stuff would be extremely convenient. Like the thing about putting the stuff inside your hand,
Right.
you know, in this section of your thumb, I mean, you know, between your thumb and your finger, right here in the fleshy part. And the conveniences is, you know, you can open your car door, right? Or you have an encrypted...
Unlock your
Unlock your laptop.
laptop.
You know, you need the password, get inside of your tablet. To get inside your house, you can have a system that, you know, okay, I know it's you. They'll open up everything. That's very convenient. That is very, very, very convenient, you know, because you might... You know, there's a whole bunch of situations where you might not remember your password. You might be a little bit drunk, tired, whatever. But you really need to get on your computer. It's cool. But my whole thing is you're wearing something that could easily be some kind of device to monitor your system, which they have and we've documented. It could be, as the individual that made himself into a sat nav, a trackable piece of hardware. For those people that don't know about that kind of stuff, they were talking about these RFID chips for a long time to be able to track where you go. They've used it in movies countless times. James Bond had to put it on because he was like running amok, and they put it in his arm. This past season of 24, yeah, it's been out there, and we covered the show about the first family that implanted this stuff into their whole system. To where each family member would actually know literally where everyone was, you know, each member was. And then we did, and which is also mentioned here, the woman that has the scanner, the Google worker that had this like a barcode scanner on her, coupled with one of these things that she took internally, like a pill that, you know, lodges itself to your body or whatever, and it turns you into like, what I forgot how she considered herself, but
she was a key card. She was like a human
key card. Yeah, she turned herself into a human key card, and like I said, the conveniences that's great. But then when you, like I said, you think about being tagged. I think of like a pigeon or something tagged and sent off, where someone absolutely knows where you are, every step of the day. So if they wanted to do you some kind of harm or wanted to dispatch someone to do you harm, this is quite easy. It's just, okay, this is where this person is, give them a device, which we all have, that can do that, and then just go find them.
And how long will it be before it goes into the hands of the police?
Yeah, the police and stuff
I guess, well, maybe that might be a savior for us black dudes, because, now they won't have to fucking shoot us in the face 15 times. They just press a button and
paralyze us on the fucking
just
spot.
Shock our fucking, electrical system, and we just hit the deck, and they can just cuff us nice and easily, as if we were a white person.
Well, that shit ain't gonna happen. That shit, because they'll probably set that shit to blow us in half. Press that. I'm serious. So that shit ain't gonna happen. Hell no.
Right. I mean, like I said, it's. I mean, unfortunately, it's always what I say. We can fucking build a bridge to heaven if it existed, and somehow or another, some human or group or corporation would find a way to just fuck it up, and either. Keep only a certain amount of people out of it, or certain types of people only can go, or just do some foul shit, and where God, who doesn't exist, will be like, what, fuck this, and blow the whole bridge up, and like, nah, you motherfuckers are gonna stay down there forever, because that's just what we do.
We just people are just generally bad, but I mean, like the whole thing about the life, like having an internal life alert,
right.
Whereas back in the days you had to have like a card. Didn't they used to do that on the back of your driver's license, like your blood type, and if you're a donor and shit like that, or if you have any allergies, you have to have something, like I'm allergic to something, so I have to have it in my wallet at all times. They give me shit, I'm finished. So, obviously that would be fantastic if you get busted up and you're unconscious and you cannot speak, but they need to work on you right now because you're messed up, and they could just scan you and, oh shit, this person's allergic to this, and this is this person's blood type, and oh, this person's had this procedure, so we can't do that, we have to do something else. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. But like I said, there's always that flip side that, to me, it just contaminates the whole process, which is something that should be celebrated. I mean, we're literally moving into Star Trek shit, things that even on Star Trek, they couldn't do. And it's just, like I said, I would love to be happy about this, but I am obviously a little bit jaded. But I will attach that, and you'll be able to check it out, because it's a very long read, but it's very informative, and it's very, very interesting. It's very interesting.
Like I said, to me, the most interesting part is that this is not just concepts, it's not plans. Like, they are doing this.
No,
shit
they're doing it right happening now. So it's very, very fascinating stuff. Very fascinating stuff.
We're trying to make it, baby. We wanna make it, baby.